Joining the Compas next is legendary announcer Michael Buffer. You know him, you love him. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Michael, just being out here at Super Bowl Radio Row, does it kind of compare to a lead up to a big fight where just media guys get together, former boxers get together, like former football players? Does it kind of feel a little bit like that?
It's unbelievable. When I was in Miami 2 years ago, I participated in this Radio Row thing. It's just the Super Bowl becomes the biggest event in the world, and it has a great matchup. I was on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network, and they got a kick out of the fact I refer to them as the Cinderella Kitty Cats. They're the Bengals, the Tigers, come to Hollywood. And what a lot of people don't realize, they think like, wow, the Rams are playing at home. Well, that's great. They get to sleep in their own beds. But all my friends that work at the Rams, with the Rams organization, hands off, man. The NFL comes in and takes over SoFi. They run everything in this town from this point on.
Definitely. Michael, before Fernando asks you about the Rams, I got to ask about the belt that this lovely lady is holding right here. Is that the Triller Fight Club? Hi, Jen. Nice to meet you. What can you tell us about Triller and that belt right there?
It's Triller puts together Triad Combat. And they've done boxing before. They've done events where using the regular ring, MMA against boxing. Boxing teams have the edge usually. So they've changed up the rules. They use smaller gloves, fingers inside, not an MMA glove, but it's a boxing glove. And then the fighter can grab his opponent, can grab the shoulder, grab the arms, manipulate him, move him, which MMA guys know how to do with balance and movement. So it sort of levels the playing field. And for an MMA fighter who's a really good striker, because there's no kicking involved in this, it's going to give us some really interesting matches. So we've got some good stuff coming up. We just postponed our Houston event because of COVID protocols, but good stuff coming up for the spring and summer on Triller, and it'll be available on Fight TV.
Michael, when you look at this matchup, and you spoke about it a little bit, but what makes the Rams such a great football team and probably the favorite? They're obviously the favorite heading into this game. But in your opinion, what makes them the favorite heading into Sunday?
I think I look at the teams as being equal. I can see why the Rams be the favorite, because the veteran quarterback versus the young gunslinger. That young gunslinger's got 4,600 yards passing to two receivers with 2,500 yards combined, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. A great offense mixing running back. And their defense shows they know how to play football. Remember, they were down by 18 points with 35 minutes to go. They had a goal line stand, and then in the second half, they held them to 3 points and came back and won that game. The defense, in my opinion, is going to win this game. When the Rams beat the 49ers to get into in the conference championship to get into the Super Bowl, they came out knowing they had to stop Garoppolo. And he had 2 minutes to go, a minute 40, kick a field goal, tied the game. And they came out possessed. If that defense can carry over, that will make the Rams. What we've seen in these last 6 playoff games, 4 overtime games, 5 walk-off scores, just amazing competition. But for some reason, every team would have a bad half and a good half, whether it was first or second half. And it just made for great football. But if either one of these teams Sunday can put together 60 minutes instead of just 30 minutes, we're going to see that it's going to be the winner. I think defense will win the game.
Michael, when I look at Joe Burrow, I feel like if he was a boxer and he came out to the ring, he might come out with the sunglasses, with a big overcoat. What do you think about Joe? They call him Joe Cool. What do you think about him?
He's amazing. He's Joe Cool. It's almost like this is before your time, but in 1968, Joe Namath, I mean, he was cool. He was laying in the lounge chair by the pool doing interviews, and he was 24 years old at the time. Won that Super Bowl against the almighty Baltimore Colts. I mean, they were I think a 16-point underdog. Unbelievable. and they dominated that game. And Joe Willie came through with a great performance. Like I say, some guys are just born to be cool, but that's a good point. If he were a fighter, he would come to the ring with the most outstanding robe possible. He'd be at a press conference wearing sunglasses, and he is cool, but he's really, really focused and knows the game. That's what makes a big difference. I mean, he's a brilliant player and dedicated to being fit. He tore his leg up last year. There's no way anybody comes back and plays like that for the first 6 weeks of the season. He should have been still rehabbing. And he started week 1, and now it's in his 20th game.
Michael, it's funny because Fernando here compared Joe Bird to Joe Namath, and I'm saying you're going way back. Think alike there. But this question you might not be able to say because it could be a secret, maybe, Michael. But you do your famous line. Let's get ready to rumble. For the kickoff for the Rams games at SoFi. This game's at SoFi. Will you be doing that, or is that something you can't say?
No, the NFL takes over, and they can't make it into a home game anymore. But you got to remember, I've done 12 NFL teams, Cowboys multiple times. The Rams before, when they were known as the St. Louis Rams. When Vermeil was there, I did a couple of home openers and the home game after they won the Super Bowl, and Green Bay, Titans, all over the place. I've done a lot of games for different teams.
But not the Raiders, right? They're spoken for Bruce Buffer handling that. and Michael, obviously your voice sounds great. You're a legend doing this at ringside.
Thank you.
Been doing it for many years. How many more years you got in? You're gonna keep doing it until I guess
I'm gonna be 78 this year, man.
You got more in you?
I think I'm gonna. COVID has been a disaster, but I've sort of enjoyed being home a lot, and kind of getting used to that. So, just get on the horse, ride off into the sunset, and maybe come back for a few biggies here and there, but getting close to retirement.
Okay, a few more big fights in Las Vegas.
Yeah, maybe.
Michael, I got to ask you about a big fight that was announced, I think, yesterday. Canelo Alvarez, Triple G3. What do you think about that fight?
Was that been announced? I didn't hear that. For Cinco de Mayo?
No, September 7th.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was the plan that I heard, probably in September. A great fight. I guess it'll be at 168.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Great fight. And I'm really, really impressed with Canelo since the first Triple G fight, which I thought, and a lot of people thought, that Triple G won. And it was called a draw. And then from that point on, we've seen the development of a really great fighter, who probably, if he considered going up to cruiserweight, maybe a catchweight at 190, I don't think he'd have a lot of difficulty fighting at that weight. He's really, really a great fighter.
And Michael, you probably get this question all the time, but what's kind of been your favorite memory in boxing, or a favorite fight that you had when you were calling ringside? Yeah,
okay. I'll tell you what, to say what was the best fight, there's just so many. I mean, really a lot of great fights. Mike Alvarez and Brandon Rios 10 years ago. That probably is the best fight I've ever seen, for 6 rounds, and then Rios wins with a TKO in the 7th round. Fans, go to YouTube and look that video up. That you never see anything like it. Okay, but one of the best moments I've ever experienced, and it was not a good fight. George Foreman, Michael Moorer. George Foreman is losing every minute of every round, and comes through at the age of 45 with a 10th round KO, 10th or 11th round. I think it was a 10th round KO. It was a 1-2. It sort of just rocks him for a split second, and then he just splits those gloves with a left jab and a straight right shot to the chin, knocks Moorer out cold. Usually when that happens, the crowd explodes when a fighter goes down. In this case, even just for a split second, I still remember the feeling. The crowd went like that. When you hear 12,000 people gasp, it's pretty noisy, and then it just exploded like, holy, what did I just see? That was a great moment that I'll always remember.
That's awesome, especially with George Foreman. He was kind of this monster, the Mike Tyson before Mike Tyson, and he loses to Muhammad Ali, and then steps away for like 10 years and comes back and does that. So that's pretty cool to hear your side from that fight there.
Selling those grills and eating hamburgers and training, and yeah, it was a great moment.
Michael, I got to put you on the spot this weekend. Who wins the Super Bowl?
Like I said before, I can't pick a team. I look at it as even, and I'm just being political. I mean, yeah, but the defense is going to win that game, in my opinion.
So when the ball's
somebody's got to make third down stops and have the other team punt more than their team. That's the bottom line. That's what's going to do it. Turnovers could ruin anybody's prediction, and so let's not. You can't make a point there. That could change anything. Defense.
If this was a Rams home game, before the ball kicks off, you're on the microphone. What would you say before the ball's kicked off?
Well, when I did the home opener for the Rams, they said you got 30 seconds. Well, I could say, Rams fans, are you ready? And get the crowd. And then it was like 20 seconds and then for the last two games or playoff games, it was like 15 seconds. So it's blah, blah, blah. Let's get ready to rumble. So there's not much you can do. You're a slave to TV.
Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Jen, thank you so much for joining us. And have fun. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Okay,
Enjoy
guys.
Radio Row.
Yeah. Have a good week.